All right, guys, we've got here a training game. So I put the call out. Anyone who wanted like a training game, any lessons or anything of the week, help me out and give it a go. And Papa Zombie has stepped up to the plate. Now, so rated 909, but only has 5 games on chess.com, all of which were wins, and a couple of which are like around the 80% mark. So I'm thinking this 909 is not a genuine thing. Okay, right. What do we do here? We do e4. Okay, so I'll get my excuses in now. Yesterday, 12 hours of driving. Didn't get back till late. 11:30 bedtime, which is very late for me, being an old fellow. And so I'm feeling very dopey today. So, what do we do when we're dopey? We try harder. We knuckle down. Right, so I'm going to move my knight here. The reason is I want to get my bishop onto c4. So he's got some extension in the middle of the board already. Now, before I shut the door with pawn d3, I have to get my bishop here, yeah? Okay, he's not attacking anything. So I can play bishop c4, or I can play knight f3. As long as I don't play d3, I think it's all good. Let's bring the bishop out. Now, I'm not actually threatening this square just yet, but you never know. There might be an option of a fork here, because this pawn on c5 is currently undefended. Okay, now that puts pay to that idea, because there's ain't no queen h5 anymore. Also, any idea of queen f3 doesn't make sense, because I've lost sight of f7 as well. So, we can now shut the door. We can now play knight f3. Seems to me like knight f3 is a flexible move. I'm just checking this pawn is defended. It's defended by my knight. And d3 will come. So this is turned from a Van Geet into, this is the closed Scandinavian. So as though we'd started with e4, e5, right? Knight c3, which is not something that, I mean, I used to play the Scandinavian. I used to, after takes, yeah, I used to play knight f6. Okay. So let's just go over the moves again. Ain't no rush, it's a 15-10, we've got all the time in the world. Okay, so we challenge there. So the modern Scandi would be to accept the pawn and then play this. The traditional Scandi is to accept the pawn, then queen recaptures on d5. Usually followed by this move, and then usually followed by queen there, or queen home, or queen there, whatever. So we have this, I pivot the knight round, he extends on with c5, we do this, we have knight c6, now I've developed the bishop, now I've developed the knight, and now e6, okay. Now, there's a general rule that if you can advance a central pawn with tempo, it's usually a good idea to do so. However, if I was to put this pawn on e5, yes, I win a tempo against the knight, okay? But the pawn is under fire, and it's defended only by this guy, right? It can't be defended by another pawn. I'm slightly more inclined to play pawn to d3, because I'm also feeling like stupid, and I want to play my cards close to my chest. But what would happen here? Knight goes here, for example. Okay, let's say I kick the knight, and then suddenly there's 2 attackers on this pawn. So I ain't doing that. I'm going to push d3 now. Now he does always have this idea of knight a5. Knight a5 means this bishop is out of squares, because he can't go there. So in the case of knight a5, we'd probably drop the bishop back if knight takes, and we've at least opened up some breathing room for the old rook. If he doesn't play that, I might consider pawn a3 on my next turn, so that my bishop's got somewhere to hide away. That said, having seen this move pawn e7 to e6, we should consider this bishop's career options, Is it a good bishop? Could it become a good bishop? Well, we just don't know. Now, a natural move here is castles. Natural move is pawn a3. with this move h6, he's stopping this idea. He doesn't want that. I get it. So I think this bishop probably just hang fire for the time being. I mean, I could stick it somewhere like f4. And f4 ain't the worst place in the world, because at least look at all the squares in my opponent's half of the board that it's covering, right? Having said that, a move like bishop f4 could prompt a move like queen b6. And then my bishop's no longer defending the b2 pawn. So I'm kind of coming back to this idea. One question to ask yourself is, well, is my king in danger? Does my king need to castle on this move? So, for example, a move like this. Well, no. You shut the door with tempo. I could just castle as well, and then carry on with my day. I'm slightly drawn. I don't want to lose this bishop, or do I? There, he comes back here. It's still not good. This pawn here, I'm not worried about the bishop here. So move like h3, if it's got double value, as in it stops the knight and the bishop from coming there, it makes more sense. Which does in the case of Papa Zombie, right? Because he's stopping bishop g5 and knight g5 with one move. a3. Go on, solid, a3. I don't have to castle the king. I said I was going to play a3 on my next turn. That's not the best reason to do it. At all. Always remember one game that I played against this blind guy, where I lost. And I said to myself, oh, if I get to move my knight on the next turn, I'm moving it, because I saw a tactic. Right? He played a move, I instantly played that move, and then regretted it because it wasn't the right move. Now this doesn't work, because although it looks like a fork, it's attacked twice and defended only once. Is he going to capture this knight? Well, I don't know. I don't know my opponent. He might do. If he does, I'll recapture with the h-pawn, again opening up a rook. Yeah. So my inclination is not long castles. Having actually, let me stop myself there. Sorry, short castles, takes, f takes, and we have a happy rook. So yeah, I am going to castle. You have to treat every move on its merits, right? Now we get to the question of h6. Right, and this may turn out to be one of the themes of the game. It's a hook. My undeveloped bishop is already staring at that. My bishop's one and only move in this game could be bishop takes h6, g takes h6, king is opened up. Now it would be nice to be able to follow that up, but can I put my queen behind my bishop? Right, well, the bishop can't go there, and we can't go there because it gets tooked. And it can't go there because it gets tooked, right? Now, I could play bishop d2, queen c1, takey, queen takes, king's here, right? I come in here, but his knight guards the checkmating square. Having said all of that, I approve of this. It guards all these squares still, right? Right now, it's got nothing going on this diagonal, but here, it does guard these squares. Is that significant? Is my opponent going to play queen there? Well, no. Is my opponent going to play knight there? Well, no. Doesn't make sense. So, what else do we have? And this, you really want to dislodge this horse if you can, but I can't. How about rook e1 then? Rook e1. Do this. You can't take because I've now got two defenders. There you go, improving move, cherry on the cake. Now, I'm doing this move before I've technically completed development, because I've still got a bishop and I've still got a queen on the back rank. But my bishop is not, you might argue, undeveloped, because it is gazing at h2. So, when is development not development? Now, admittedly, yes, I know, I haven't connected my rooks yet. So I haven't completed development. Technically, you know. But I might still have ideas of this. So you see, next, we are now threatening e5. Where it shall be defended twice. Previously, at all other points in the game, it would only be defended once. So it would have been arguably overextending, in which case your opponent grabs your wrist, you know, turns your shoulder, and you're on the floor. In Aikido style. Or something like that. Oh, Majesty. Okay, so what he's doing here is he's adding more firepower to this square. He's got bishop, he's got knight, now he's got queen, all on the case. So now I think we just resort to this. Now, even still, takes here, I've got two options. Okay. Well, that's not your plan, is it? I still can't do this. I'd like to reinforce that. Maybe, is there some way of moving this knight? No. Because I can't get the move f4. If I could get f4, e5, that would be interesting. But then f4 itself would close down this diagonal, which would be a pain. So, I don't know what to do. This bishop does feel awkward. I could chip away. Leave myself with a backwards d-pawn. But to get my bishop on there, yes, that is what we shall do. If he takes here, I might stick old Bish, the old DSB, the dark bishop. Right? Stick him here, eyeing up this knight, and then we limb the knight. Yeah. Be nice if my queen was already on this diagonal though. Maybe I should just like do that. I'll see what he does first. If he takes, I've got to respond, right? So I have to take back, I think, with the bishop. But I'm not 100% sure. Because, yeah, it's nice to have the bishop on this diagonal looking at the knight. It's also nice to have the bishop on this diagonal looking at the h6 pawn, which could also be a potential target. We do have. But I think taking out the knight and this pawn moving away leaves that pawn really, really super weak anyway. This bishop is my... Yeah, it's not a great bishop. This bishop's also not a great bishop yet, but, you know, bishops are they're investments. Huh. Right, he's not took the bait. There. So I've got two attackers, but he's got two defenders. Still this doesn't work, still three attackers. Queen here is also a thought. How badly do I want to play the move e5? If he takes, he loses a piece, right? If he takes twice, he still loses a piece. Queen here, it's a thought. Okay, let's say queen here. Quite what he's doing with this thing, I don't know, because I don't know where that knight's going. Is it going there? Okay, queen e2. With the idea of this, and that knight has to vacate the premises. Having said that, my queen is not on this diagonal. But my queen might come to g4. There, well, obviously this knight has to move. It's all very complicated, isn't it? This chess business. But this is what it's about. It's about juggling strategies within strategies. Or tactics within tactics more of the time. Oh, 30 moves in. I wonder if this position has ever been reached before. He says good luck to us both, yeah. Enjoying so far? Good game. Interesting playing an unknown quantity. It's good practice to to treat every opponent as though they're going to play the best, at least the best moves that you can find. He says, agreed, I don't usually get much resistance. So this seems to me like a very new chess.com account, but not a very new player. Okay. He forks my knight and my bishop. Because he's worried about e5. I'm not that keen on the idea of letting him take my bishop and then takes away from the centre. We do have closed but openable. I like that bishop. I'm inclined to take is my first thought. Yes. Because then I've also got ideas maybe of this. Now not immediately, obvs, because of the aforementioned problem with the fact that he's got barrage. He's got barrage Obama down that diagonal. However, is this a thought? Is this a bloody thought? Right, I've still got this idea. I'd love to put queen e here. Now knight here. Is a threat. Right, takes. You know? Bang, bang, bang. We could sack the bishop for two pawns. And these aren't 1 point pawns. By the way, the pawns in front of your king, I would suggest are more like 1.5 point pawns compared to like this guy, Andy. You're right, never going to achieve anything in this world. Unless he becomes a queen one day. So we know we're playing a player anyway. Now he can't let me do this and takes, because that means he's got a, you know, dead in the water h-pawn. In fact, he loses the pawn immediately because bang, right? And then out comes the queen and it's murder, right? Dial M for murder. Now if he takes, queen takes. Okay, well, let's carry on thinking from there, because, ooh, hello. Curious. Now, my light squared bishop is still poor, isn't it? I could drop back. I could take, queen takes. Take, pawn takes. Takes, queen takes, g3. Not the smartest thing in the world to weaken my light squares when there is a lurking light squared bishop. That is, by the way, and all his pawns are actually in front of that diagonal as well. It's only being held back by this. I mean, even f3 might be a smarter move. Takes, f3. Queen can't come in there, but she could come in here. Stop messing up my stuff. How about like rook a d1? Takes, rook takes, something like this. I think we'll go for that. I'm down to 6 minutes, so I don't think that's a big blunder. I'm seeing bishop takes h2, but it's currently double guarded, right? I still have the option of this now, and that de-encourages the queen from coming into my like camp, because it's like, no, you are not coming into my camp. Off with you. And notice all the knights are now gone. Knights of Gondor, oaths you have taken, fulfill them now. This move is a wee bit confusing, I have to say. Right, the two obvious options. Well, the one obvious option is to initiate the trade of bishops. f3 tempts. Here, though, I mean, if he vacates that way, I've got this as an option. What happens if this? Don't know. I'm just nervous about g3. I'm really not a fan of pushing my king's bodyguard unless there's a damn good reason to do so. Takes. Takes. Doesn't work. Go on, I'm going to do it. I want to see what this bishop does. I think takes doubles. f4 ideas. I've still got all my pawns. So we actually have quite a good shield. Our shield is up. The shield can't take any more, Captain. Well, she can. The shield is strong. Alright then. Okay, and that's his thought. Now, am I going to come around here? I'm thinking b3, giving me that option of d2. If I come back here, I come here. If he pushes, I can take here, there, and everywhere. To lead a better life, I need my love to be here. A slightly more obscure Beatles song there. Why I have to go into Ken Bruce, I don't know. Right. Okay, natural. Okay, the problem is now this pawn is actually pinned. And the reason is that he's got checkmate there. So, f3, the aforementioned, springs to mind. Bishop, or something like that. And this bishop's currently very bad indeed. There. I'm going to play this. I might even fianchetto the bishop. Having said that, it still pins the pawn because you've got queen takes bishop checkmate. So you've got to be slightly careful there. Slightly careful. Join me in 20 minutes for Popmaster. Ooh, this was bold. I think this is playable immediately. Takes, obviously the bishop hangs, yes. But takes, bishop takes. You ain't going to take with your queen, is it? That, you see, that's one of those moves where you go, okay, game on. Game on. It's all about these light square diagonals. My opponent has arguably the slighter, slope of the green, having his pawns in front of this diagonal, and these pawns, well, they're kind of flexible still, but at the same time there's weaknesses around. But then I've created this massive hole, haven't I? Don't create massive holes. I can even fianchetto my queen. This is not out of the question. This is just loses material because takes. I lose the bishop outright. Outright. I have no check here. I might drop queenie back. I'm going to drop queenie back to here. Might stick her in there. This is very much an arm wrestle. This is an unrated game, by the way. Because if it wasn't, I'd be standing to lose like all my points. Like it'd be like a 12-4, a 13-3 or something. Something like that. Right, he really is pushing now. He's saying, push it. Push it good. Still, this doesn't work. My bishop hangs. I can't stick a rook there to defend it. If I do this, I can't. I don't know. Ooh, you did not just do that. Okay. Right, bishop comes. Might as well stick it here. This pawn's not under threat, and at least I'm looking at some squares. Right, but now the option, like, dude, you've moved all of your kingside pawns, man. Oh, okay, I do have 3 defenders on here. I don't know about this, because I think h3 comes. And if takes... I've got to say, who's got the more precarious position? Also, f3. f3 takes. Okay, so he's now working on the fact that my queen and my king are in line. So, you know, takes rook no, rook doesn't take because bishop takes rook. I could just push and shut down the whole place. Could push this. That's kind of hairy though. That's too hairy. Because then my pawn's stuck, right? Because it's still got the barrage down the light square diagonal. No, Sasha. What if we just lock everything off? He comes in. If I take... I'm going to do it. Let's find out. It's been a very good game so far. Okay. Now what I want to do is get my king out of there. However, we're going to have... Feels like the hammer blow will fall here. This is an idea. Not unlikely, but we're pinning this pawn on that rook. I really want to get the king the hell out of there, but I'm worried about everyone getting killed on e4. I've got 3 defenders. Okay, he's right. That's now protected twice. I do have this. I'd love to get my king out. Have I got time to run away with the king? There, you take, I take. This is what I want to do. And then stick a rook on here. Bang. And now it's all about here. Takes. King steps out the way. I have to move my queen. Here. I think I need to do that anyway, actually. Okay, now we have to do this. Now I'm going to bring this rook down to the H file. He's still defending this twice. But this takes, and suddenly my queen might threaten to jump into his side of the board. And if I can get extra threat over on this, then maybe. I'm going to say you're clearly not a 900. See all the tension as well. He says no, he's not a 900. Okay. Says, no idea what rating I actually am, but certainly not 900. Yes, I would concur. I would concur. I could defuse some tension with c4. If it takes, and that's an outpost. Still with attention on that pawn, which is at e6. Here. I'm going to do it. I think rook d1 is also fine as well. Okay, I want to keep this option of recapturing with bishop takes c4, right? So that I'm still looking at this pawn, because this pawn could be a liability. Maybe I should have just played rook h1. Instead of that move. Okay, what are you doing now? Takes. Still got two defenders there. Queen takes here. Still got two defenders on e4. Oh, really? Okay, takes. Check. I think it's obligatory. I have this as well. I need to recapture that. Oh no! Well, you can take the rook. Okay, I have this or this. Or I have a check. That was a handy move though. I'm going to do this. Be a bit careful here. Suddenly I'm 2 pawns down. Potentially 3 pawns down. Wow. Wow. Okay, he goes there. He can't go there, so he's got 2 options. Neither of which allows me into the middle. I'm going to have this move. And I'm going to have a check probably on the next turn. Wow. That was also, this is maybe an idea. Maybe an idea. Oh my goodness. Right here, he pushes, check, there. I can't afford to give him 2 moves, that's the problem. 2 moves is checkmate. Ladder mate, right? So my first move has to threaten a check. My second move has to be a check. And if I take here, my second move can't be a check, because it ain't a check. So it has to be this or this. I don't really think it makes a huge difference, but that was an attack. Wow. I just didn't read it at all, did I? Now he can take the bishop with check. Doesn't matter hugely where my king goes, I don't think. Okay. Right, you do this. Okay. It has to be this. It has to be the check. Now that... The only question here is there a perpetual? This is all I have. If he goes, this might be useful. It's a check. He has to go here or else I'll take the bishop. Am I out of checks now? Am I getting mated on the next move? I believe I am. I believe I am. The only way to stop it is to sack the queen for the bishop. I can't even do this and block. Yeah, the Grandmaster would have already resigned at this point, by the way. Okay, I'm going to do that and let you mate me, because excellent game. Yeah, well done. Brilliant attack. Thanks for the game. If I could type. I can't even type. If I can't even type, then we know something's wrong. Okay. Okay, I'm going to review now. So thanks on that one. But yeah. That to me was a 1700 level game. It really was. No. No. No, just no. No, that's piss off, fish. My opponent did not play at 1100 rating, but apparently fluffed up the end game as well. Shouldn't have done that. Oh man, what? I could have equalised. Check. Show me. Is that the way to a perpetual? What if he gone here? Whoa. Then Queen H4. Okay. Okay, so maybe there was in some of that. Wow. And again here, he does this, and that's actually a blunder. Because I could have saved the draw. With that. Wow. Just use the corner, use the sides of the board rather than this, giving him that. But it's still a forced mate. Well, I think that was extremely rude of the fish. Look, this was tight, tight, tight as you like up to this point, when I have the slightest edge, and that was my first real mistake. No, I'm sorry. Look, I just have to disagree violently with the fish at this point. Running away with the king was not the idea. Okay, so takes and he takes back, and now what? How am I winning a pawn? You silly piscine. Piscine. And I'm slightly worse. But I mean, no, that was a jolly good game. And fish, I don't care what you say. So up yours, fish. But Papa Zombie, thank you very much for the game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think it was far, far better than the fish is. So stuff you, fish. But yeah, if you fancy playing a game like this with me, we'll record it as we go. Be my guest. The link is in the description of every video, so click on that. It's only $10, and yeah, it just helps support the channel. So there you go. Right, good game. Hope you enjoyed it more than the fish did. Stupid fish. Thanks for watching. See you later.